I wanted to pop on, as promised, and share the 3D Emboss and Cut folder for anyone who may not be familiar with how these work. So here are a couple of cards that I made using this. So first, here's this one, and I used a little bit of metallic watercolors to do a little bit of splattering on it, and some silver embossing powder to emboss a stamp sentiment. This is an old Impression Obsession stamp that I had. And then these are the butterflies, which I cut out of white cardstock, and then I did a little bit of ink blending and used a little bit of Wink Stella, which I'm hoping the camera can pick up, to put on the wings to add a little bit of shimmer to them as well. Then this is the other card that I made using a blackout technique. Again, this one, cut this all out of white, used the inverse side or the deboss side, so like this, put a little bit of color down, ran my black over top of it to create that, and did the same thing with the butterflies and put them on. And this sentiment is one that I used my hot foil system for, and used the Spellbinders curved everyday sentiments that comes with all the sentiments and the banners to do that. Now that one I don't believe we have in stock, but I believe it is still available. So anyways, there's a couple of my cards, and here's the folder. So I thought I would show you how to use it. Now first of all, I take an 8.5 by 11 and I just cut it down so it's 5.5 by 8.5. I like to give it a little bit of a mist just to make, I find it makes a bit better of an impression on there. And then the Spellbinders, it has the Spellbinders side. It says the words on it on one side and does not on the other one. So the part that it says the words on is the part that kind of has the little wall. Here it's got a little ridge, this ridge. Now it looks like the same here, but here this one sticks up more than this does. So I put the dies in there. You just find out which one goes where. And they click right in place. You can see like they kind of lock in a little bit, right? So that, you know, you can tell when they're in there. You're just sliding them around, and then as soon as you get in the right spot, you can see it just, it's sat in there. So that is what I am doing, trying to find the right spot. There's the flower. Now you can do this separate. You can emboss it and then die cut, but I am all about doing it at once if you can do it at once. Now I'm looking to see where my other die went right now. Ah, I knew they fell. I thought only one fell. I found it. So there we go. So those are all locked in place now. So now I will put my paper that I have sprayed, that's still a little bit damp, it doesn't need to be sopping or anything, in there. And I will close it over. You can tape the dies if you want to tape the dies. I don't tape the dies, so I'm just going to die cut it, and I will be back in a second and show you it cut, because you don't really need to just watch me die cut. So I'm just over here. Depending on your system is what plates you will need to use for it. So do whatever you normally do to emboss your things. It's just like any other embossing folder. You want to run it through. Take the stuff off, and then there you go. So now I'll open it up, and there they are. So now sometimes this one, depending on how you did it, might not have totally detached at the ends. But that's okay, you can do that, or you can clean it up after. And then there you go. So there's the flower, butterfly, the leaves, smaller butterfly, and the edge. And then if you want to, you can just use them like this. You can do some watercoloring. You could cut these out on watercolor paper and then do watercoloring on them. You can do some ink blending on them. I have not tried putting ink directly on this, but I don't see why it wouldn't work to do that. You can do what I did and do the ink blending on the background and do a blackout technique if you want to. It's up to you where you go from here. But anyways, that is how you use one of these. Now we have these 3D emboss and cut folders. Spellbinders make some. We also have some embossing folders from Memory Box that have a die in them. We also have some emboss and cut folders from Pink and Main in the store, and I believe we may have some from Lisa Horton left in there. She has changed over and her dies aren't in her embossing folders anymore. They are part of with her stencils. But I'm not sure. We may still have the odd embossing folder that comes with the die from her, because she is another company that releases dies and embossing folders. So anyways, if you were curious about how you use this, that is how you do it. It's very easy. And then you have all sorts of great bits. And here is a couple of the cards that I made. Anyways, hope this helped. Bye.